may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Just because I walk as if I have oil wells pumping in my living room. Still I rise.
What's up, Orlando? What's happening?
Hey,
man, tonight's show gonna be something very interesting. But before we get on that, I'm glad that we are back, and we got something very, very interesting. Hey, Phil, drop that. Hey, what's up, y'all? This your boy Renai. I got my girl Ashley.
Hey.
And I got my girl Lynn.
hey.
And I got my girl Go DJ.
Hey, what's up?
Ooh, I know y'all haven't seen us in a while.
A minute.
Yes, but we just took a little break. I just chilling.
Yeah.
Doing my thing. So tonight show is gonna be very interesting. And I'm gonna let my girl Ashley go ahead and break it down to us. So what's happening?
All right. So today's topic is along your path, what identities have you adapted that you need to disown to become who you are called to be? Who are you? And the reason I chose this is because I feel like there's a lot of people that have no identity because they have taken on everybody else's role and they've forgotten about themselves. And a part of that is because of the seeds that are planted in people, just by word of mouth, like people calling you, oh, you're ugly, oh, you're,
Selfish,
anything, just calling you out your name, anything that you aren't. And people implant that in their minds, and then it becomes a part of them.
Yeah.
And they take it on through their daily lives.
Eminem said it best. I am whatever you say I am.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is true.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, what I want to ask you guys today is what's something that you guys have taken on that is not yours as your identity? Like, what's something like you growing up, somebody said to you and you still carry, like in the back of your brain, like, oh,
that's
maybe,
a good one.
Maybe I'm not.
You is in line when you
Maybe
said
I'm not
interested
comfortable.
because I'm like, hold on.
Definitely a good one.
That's a deep one.
Who's
Don't
going
know.
first?
Okay, well,
right.
Well, let me
Ladies go first.
Right. Look, y'all know. I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna kick this one off because I feel like growing up, I always got called the rebel. You're like the breaking the rules kind of person, but it was like, to me, whose rules? Who set them?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's different. I mean, of course, outside of parental guidance, whose rules are we playing by? And I feel like one of the things that helped me, I mean, I don't let it identify me as much now. Of course, the older you get, the more you learn that, your places and your areas are a focus. But growing up, if someone's always saying you're rebellious, and typically when they're saying you're rebellious, is that you are breaking these rules, right? So when I ask about like whose rules, who's setting them, do you find that in conversations, everyone's just like, well, in society, but it's like, I had a teacher once say, define society. And people were just like, everybody, it's the people. Well, who? What people? What area?
What is society?
What is society? And you won't find people that give you the true definition by way of what we know, the inclusiveness of the word. We just say society to encompass everybody or the masses. But again, it goes back to the question of whose rules, who's setting them, who made you the ruler of my life to say I'm breaking something. Yes, we do have a order we do have a directive given, but most of those that we should focus on is what we're giving in the home. Yes, we know how to act in terms of emotion-wise and feeling-wise when we are interacting with other people. Growing up, your teachers, your friends, we all taught respect your elders. Those kind of rules we're given, yes. However, when it comes to how I respond to things, whose rules am I defying?
True.
Where what part of this, what part of my actions is rebelling against what? If I choose to do it differently than you, that's not rebellious.
That doesn't define.
I'm playing by my own. I'm marching to the beat of my own drum. So, of course, I think it kind of growing up now transfer that into the workplace, right?
Right.
If you question why a directive is given, or if you question something that typically is not questioned or people don't think to question, does that still make me rebellious? No, I'm supposed to. You know what I mean? So I think for a while I was just like, I've accepted to the point where I think ahead of it, like, well, I know I'm gonna be rebellious for this, but again,
It's like we planned for it.
Right. I plan for the pushback. I plan for that snapback, but that's just one thing I could think of, like, off rip, that was like a difficult thing to break, because I had to understand, like, we're all different. So if I do it different than you, that's make me, you know what I mean? That
Rebellious.
makes me rebellious.
Doesn't
No.
mean that.
I just welcome challenge. That's it.
I think with me, it was just a little different growing up as a kid and having everybody, put that responsibility on you.
Yeah.
And I feel like with my family, my mother kind of got incarcerated when I was at the age of 13. So I kind of had to, figure things out. Yeah. So I had to kind of figure things out on my own, hold it down for the family. And I think that was it. That was kind of like the icing on the cake, where it was like, you have to provide for everyone. And before, it was always, when my mother was around, like, okay, all the siblings can get whatever. And it was always, oh, I didn't have enough for you today. You all right with that, right? So it was like, okay, you had to,
Figure it out.
figure
Take
it
on
out.
that ownership.
Pretty much. So with that, I think the older I got, I kind of just
Took on that role.
Yeah, it was kind of like, you know what? I'm tired of doing for other people, even though your heart tells you, this is who you are.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like you can't let people walk all over you.
Yeah.
Because you're just always carrying that burden on. Just
That
for
wasn't your
them.
responsibility.
And it was not my responsibility. But yet it still is. You understand?
Yeah.
So it's like I'm trying to break out of that by helping everybody else find their way so I can find mine. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's pretty much.
Okay. One thing I can say about me, did you want to go
No,
ahead?
ladies go
Okay.
first.
Me growing up in the household with my mom, I took on a lot of anger, and the reason was because that's what I seen. Like, it was always arguing, it was always fighting, it was always, oh, you get the blame. So as I grew up, like, I kind of self-sabotaged myself, because I would always be like, oh, well, I guess it's my fault. Like, whatever went wrong, I'm like, I guess it's my fault. And, that kind of ruined a lot of relationships with people, just because I felt like I was undeserving and I was unworthy of a lot of things. So that's one of the things I had to disown and, kind of forgive myself. Even recently, for those of y'all who follow me on Facebook, I wrote a post saying, I forgive myself because God forgave me.
Oh, yeah.
And that was really deep for me.
Yeah,
because
I saw that.
if you don't forgive yourself, you'll continue to go in the same cycle. Like, you can put it in your head and say, oh, I'm not going to do this no more, or I'm not going to say this no more. But if you haven't forgiven yourself, it's still there. That seed is still planted because you haven't
that's so true.
let it go. So,
and one of the things that stuck with me, Pastor Rob Raymer also wrote the book 7 Principles of Soul Care, but there was a saying that says, if you tell yourself, but also let other people know whenever it comes time to you being hard on yourself, and whenever somebody tries to judge you or place any type of negative judgment or characteristic traits on you, that it is what it is by way of a perception of something. The number one rule or thumb or line is, my sins were settled at the cross. There's nothing that you can do to me, or nothing I can tell myself that's that's anything less than how God sees you.
Correct.
Right.
That's, you know what I mean? And then also it's the same way for non-believers. You know what I mean? Because in essence, it's saying that no matter what you've done, you still have time to make it right.
It's not the
No
end of
matter
the
what
world.
it's not the end. And so, but I did have a question because one of the things you said when like it's ruined relationships or friendships, how did you get over it? And what was the feeling or the moment you realized that you had stopped it?
It took a while. Honestly, I could say the healing process probably started like last year because I realized like I was running everybody away.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang. Okay,
Where my friends
I'm by myself now. So, I think the realization was like the loneliness, like, you know, me just putting the blame on myself so much. It was just like, you know, I'm by myself, so what am I gonna do? And then I also had certain people like in my family that approached me about certain situations, and they were just like, well, you know, what's going on with you? Like, why are you this way? And I had actually asked myself, like, what is wrong with me? Like, you know, am I too much? You know, like, am I whatever?
Right.
So, just me asking those questions to myself and then going down memory lane of things I've done to people, and, you know, like, even like a little manipulation through people, like, because I knew, okay, we're going to talk about relationships, like my exes. I was manipulating some of them because I knew it was no end. Like, I knew, like, this was just temporary.
Hold
past
up.
life. This is my
I
past
want
life.
to acknowledge that right there. Right? No, because it takes a lot to even admit it. But there's a lot of stuff, and I see this all the time, and Phil, I know you've seen it too in NBL. Because they say women don't take ownership of the things that they do wrong in relationships. We only point the finger at the men.
Right.
No, we're wrong too.
And exactly. So I just wanted to call that out.
Thank you.
That is a really big deal, and I'm glad that you felt, you know, okay to share that because it is an observation and that you're able to verbalize. So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But go ahead. I just wanted to make it a point because they'll be quick to be like, oh, there they go, blame it.
Y'all can't admit when y'all wrong, ladies.
We can admit it.
But
Only a small percentage.
Is it? Look,
We're
you always
very
gonna have
rare.
that one.
but we coming up. So, but yeah, me realizing the traits that I had, and these were also traits that came through, you know, the seed that was given to me, like through my dad. These were his ways, and me not of course, when you're younger, you don't really realize
The things you pick up.
what's
Yeah.
going on until you get older, and then it's just like, dang, I'm really, I might be toxic. So
That's just that's that
That I might
family
be.
cycle curse
yeah,
that
the
we're
generational
generational
curses. So, but yeah, just some things I picked up and just started realizing more about myself, getting closer to God, and Him literally telling me like, "You not right." So, but yeah, just some things I disown. What about you, Renai?
I think, with me, just me growing up, I never really been around my father's side for real until when I had moved to Huntsville back in 05. Because I only knew just my mother's side. And I knew something was missing. And I never considered myself as a smart person. I always said, like, I'm all right. Until my granddaddy I think he overheard me on the conversation, and he sit me down, and I will get it more in detail, but, all I can say is my granddad when he used to get on that brandy, that man could talk, man.
The truth come out.
And, he would just basically explain it to me about the people in my family, how
How they see things and how they operate.
that it was more of saying that, hey, you're not dumb. You're very smart. You just have to believe in yourself. And I really, really when he really broke it down, like with my cousins, because like my father's side of the family is more of a science background. Because my grandfather graduated from Alabama A&M with his degree in chemistry. I have a cousin that works for NASA, and she's an engineer. And I have, my uncle, which is major in math. Because people don't realize math, anybody majoring in mathematics are scientists because they deal with formulas. And like with me, I just never believed in myself.
Did somebody plant that seed? Or you just planted it?
No, because
But did you compare yourself? Because that's a lot of this. A
that's what it
lot of
sounds
these
like.
things
I don't think
come from self-sabotage.
No, it was more of course, when you in school.
I was just gonna say that.
When you're in school, so you have that smart kid that everybody just adore. And I'm like, they'll do anything for them to get in college. But somebody like me that was like average, they were just like, oh, okay, look him over. I'm like, dang. I'm like, man, I want to go to school too. But when I realized my first semester at Miles College that I knew then that I was, I don't say I was because that's in the past. I still am part of, as an intelligent as one of the smart ones. Because I know when I had took my biology class and when I got exempt, because I wasn't going to take no 300 question multiple choice. Yep, let's get exempt.
300. They want you to go to sleep.
No, it was just a comprehensive overall exam from.
Gotcha.
But
test your IQ scores.
Oh, no. Who's sitting there doing that? Who?
But it's just,
I'm that parent.
no, it's just it's crazy because when people, correct me if I'm wrong, because when people have like these identity crises, sometimes they don't have that help, and they end up leaning things towards like drugs, suicide, because they don't know who they are.
Right.
Because they have that identity crisis. And I think
they just have they create that dependency, right? Because now you rely on someone or something
Somebody
to
else's
give you that
opinion.
extra, right? Like for example, we make a joke out of liquid courage, but people become a whole different person when they are intoxicated. And then in the flip side of things too, then you have those people who don't have an identity, so they attach themselves to other people that they rely on to give them that identity. I call them chameleons. No matter who they sit around, they can become and fit in that room. And they don't know who they are. Yeah. You're supposed to be who you're gonna be, no matter what room you walk in, no matter who you are. Like that doesn't.
So you don't code switch?
No, I don't. And let me tell you one thing. I think that's actually been one of the things that has helped me become successful. Has helped me become successful on the professional side. Like literally, I'm not. If you fall down and you scrape your knee, we both gonna bleed in the same fashion. You bleed just like me. Right. I don't code switch at all. In the professional setting and work, this is who you're going to get.
And I think that you see it a lot in the social media world.
Yeah.
And
Social media made it bad.
Yes, and that's what
I think it was already bad.
Yeah, but it's just social media.
But I mean, catfish is, we had the whole catfish generation.
Social media just
heightened it.
Brought it to the forefront.
Yeah, just like it was like on steroids. It just
because you can literally be anybody and don't nobody really know who you are.
They don't know you struggling on the backside.
They don't see the truth.
You over here on the yacht, on boat rides, but you sleeping on the couch at your friend's house.
Yeah,
you ain't got not a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of.
Those people, when you look at it, those people that do that, right? When you post it for the cloud or you post to get a certain reaction from people,
right?
From your representative or who you posted to be, right? It's almost hilarious to me because you're doing that with the intent to attract more people to be likable.
Right.
Right? Now, more people, it's not even about being liked. It's about being respected enough. So when you are, and this is why people like the Cardi B's. This is why people like the Queen Latifahs. This is why people like, I mean, she has a representative too, but I'm just saying, this is why people actually gravitate more towards people that we don't need a filter. You don't need to be anybody but yourself, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
So, I just remember having this conversation back when, I don't condone any violence or anything like that, but when Cardi B and Nicki Minaj got into that little scruffle on the Harper's Bazaar red carpet, and everybody was like, "Yo, like, why Cardi B is going off like that? Like, yo, you're at Harper's Bazaar." So it's like, who was I when y'all met me on Facebook?
Yeah.
Who was I?
Person.
I was this.
Yeah,
So you think because I got more money, I'm supposed to be different?
Right.
And even with the
You're still
Khalees and the
human.
Beyonce thing, a lot of people, Khalees been doing this for a year. This is her. She has never changed. Y'all thought she was supposed to change because it's Beyonce now at it. You know what I
Right.
mean? She's being consistently who she is. So I think when you have your identity, no matter who you are, who you encounter, what you encounter, you gonna be you.
Your status should not affect.
It ain't gonna affect
how
you.
you act.
Right.
That's like like Damon Dash.
Yeah.
He's a he's a pure a-hole, and but the thing about it is he ain't gonna change.
No.
It's like him. I was watching a thing about Irv Gotti. You know what I'm saying? Like him, 50 Cent. As the list goes on.
Yeah.
But like, let me ask y'all this: since y'all women. So when y'all see women that be having posts of them half naked, do you think they have an identity crisis? If they constantly doing it for attention?
I mean,
I think
I
if
feel like
it is for attention, that's different.
yeah, I feel like most of them do it for attention, and then on the back end, some people could do that because that's just their confidence, like them knowing their body and just living freely. But on the other hand, with me, I wouldn't do it because it just
I think it
that's not
depends
me.
what you consider half naked.
naked or like
What do you consider? I know it's a
You
real.
must
It's
be
a,
talking about my
it's
bottle girl
it's an
attire.
honest. It's
Is
an
he
honest
calling
question.
anybody
You
out?
calling me out?
Right, because let me tell you something, and I got a lot of bull crap, and then you know what I'm saying, because y'all know I've been on vacation for the last couple of weeks. So with that being said, if I am enjoying one of the most #1 beaches where Pirates of the Caribbean was filmed, #1, we actually went to that little boat, and I'm in my swimsuit, and I choose to post a picture in my swimsuit.
That is your prerogative.
That is my prerogative. I don't need attention. It ain't for none of that.
That's
but then
what
I'm
made-
also going to tell you the amount of money you spend on just to maintain and upkeep a healthy body. I'll be god darn if you think I'm gonna wear a turtleneck out there to Aruba.
Seriously.
I don't mean and it's not even for attention. What it really
Right.
comes down to is, yo, I'm proud of myself.
You
I
just
bust my.
feeling
I knew
good.
I was going on this trip months ago.
But I'm talking about in the sense of they use fans only. On
that's
Instagram.
pornography.
No, see, that's pornography. That's
That's
porn.
different.
That's porn.
You're charging for this service
that's
now.
porn. That's
And
not the same.
and reason why I say that because I go on my
You
Instagram.
be on the OnlyFans.
You
I
go on
know.
your OnlyFans.
Yeah, you see, stop this stuff. And he said,
First of all, I'm not
got an
going.
account.
First of
He
all,
knows.
first of all,
spending the monies.
first of
Spending the
all,
money.
first of all,
telling on your stuff.
nope. I don't need to tell them.
First of all, you might want to get to the second or third of all because you already.
We already messed up the first one.
I'm really gonna be honest. There's no reason for me to go on OnlyFans only, and I have individuals in the past, in the present, done send me interesting pictures of themselves.
Man, you
Hoes.
got Pornhub. You got all
I
this
got
extra
hoes.
stuff. You don't care about
A
paying nothing.
different area.
Especially if you can see it for free.
You can't see it online for the free 99. Not even gonna hold you, but
Hey, but the thing about it is, even with that situation, I just keep it to myself, and that's it. Because I don't believe in sporting people out. But overall,
I think that like one of the things you said, I think there's a lot of men that misrepresent certain things as being something that is not. Like there's been plenty, and it's plenty of men that will look at like a picture and make it more sexualized than what it's meant to be.
Because that's what's in
And
there.
that's what's in there. That's a deflection. It's not to say I'm posting this to spark this reaction.
so
that's just how you
so
felt
let me
about
ask
it.
you this. So I don't feel this way, but I'm just asking y'all this. So if y'all is somewhere in Jamaica and with a 2-piece thong baby suit, where y'all would take a picture and turn around.
I'm turning up. I'm in Jamaica. Listen, I don't owe nobody. They don't know me. They don't know me. I'm turning up in Jamaica.
Boy, I tell you.
And that has been me.
Are you talking about like the thirst traps that women do, where they like, oh, look at my hair?
Because he said turning around, so I'm just kind of like, are you talking about one of these? Like, hey, like
Now that's for attention.
no, that's for
attention.
like if it's all up your
That's
your
clear.
cool
That's
snatch,
attention.
then that's different. But there's been plenty of like, no, I'm just talking about regular 2-piece bathing suit pictures like that people normally post. And the thing about it is,
I don't have a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? Do what you do.
of course you don't.
Man, I just.
I bet you he right there, double tap.
Bloopers.
Nope, sure don't.
Let me
I don't. I'm stingy with my likes.
double tap.
I'm
I had to go
stingy
back
with my
and
likes.
untap it.
You seen?
I am stingy with my likes. I have my home girl. She used to get, I ain't gonna say she used to get upset, but you know what I'm saying? Like, dang, you don't like none of my stuff.
Oh.
And she could be wearing a
The
see.
homegirl,
Yeah, she could have a see
friends
through.
with benefits.
She trying to get your attention.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why she's.
Ain't
No,
no, she no regular homegirl.
No,
down
she,
there,
no,
no
she,
regular homegirl.
no, because the thing about she would like my stuff, but I want I told her, I said, I do that.
But
I said,
she
she's
needs the
looking-
attention.
I told
Because the likes
her,
shouldn't matter.
I told her, I said, I don't like nobody's stuff, man. You could be in there, be butt naked. I'll be like,
Goes to the search bar and
But
look
save
at
the image.
No,
Save
you go to the
16
views.
seconds ago.
Go to the
Nope.
views.
Tappity
and see how
tap
many
tap
times they
tap
went back.
Never
on the
that.
ebony pages.
uh.
Then he gonna change it. I only like on Wednesdays.
Hidden
Oh.
photo. Hidden photo.
See, I'm a different breed, man. I just tell, I say, well, hey, see it once, you see it again. Hey.
I heard about you sliding them DMs.
Nah.
It's all coming out today.
I
put it all on the table.
I put to you like
Dangerous.
this. I said I put to you like this. Hey, I don't care because I'm single. I could do whatever I want to, but you know that's why I do what I do. It's one thing if I was in a relationship. If I'm in a relationship, I'm not gonna be in your DM. I'm gonna be attending to the person who I'm with. But since I'm single, since I'm free, you know,
Free balling.
He's sliding the inbox, Xbox DMs.
F-R-E.
Free balling.
I'm FB.
Can we play that song?
I took the N out and put the B in it.
I can't stand that song.
You and me both. I'm like, this when music came to.
Yeah, you know what? I actually, it's kind of crazy. I actually like that song. It's
I
just
bet.
so funny.
It's just catchy.
You're like, let's go.
Yeah, that's the only part.
Right.
That's a
But-
ringtone for
But
somebody.
you know, it's so. But you know, what I'm saying? I know we finna get off topic for a moment, but
Yeah.
it was so crazy. Actually, with Glorilla, I actually heard, you know, because I'm a type of person when I hear something, I said, let me see what other stuff they have. So I actually went on the YouTube and it was like a song called "Set the Tone." It was her and 4 other female rappers, and I have to say, one of the girls that I really like, her name was Gloss Up, and with her, she's actually
These names
She
getting
sound
worse
like she
and
a
worse,
problem.
man.
but
You
I'm
looking for trouble.
telling you, if you hear that girl rap, you be like,
I need us to bring back the old school rap names or something. I'm sorry. I can't listen to.
I understand that part, but I'm telling you, if you hear
What
her,
happened to the regular name?
Right.
That's
MC
identity
Lights.
crisis.
I'm sorry,
India. Like, why we can't keep our real name? Why
See,
we
you know
gotta
what?
be all of this?
You know what? This-
Gonorrhea. What? Come on. Why we gotta be all of that?
Black eye, blue face.
Diarrhea.
Y'all
Girl, your
some
name
haters. Y'all
diarrhea.
some old haters. Y'all some old haters. Well, like I was saying,
Go ahead.
when I actually heard her actually rap, I was like, oh wow, this girl literally got some bars. Like I was like, and what was so crazy,
By whose standards?
I'm telling you, if you listen to
Was you
her,
listening to her bars or listening to her bars?
listen. Cause that same thing. That's how I felt about Mulatto. Cause like even with Mulatto, when I actually heard her really, she could really
She's
rap.
good. She's
She
good.
could really
I
rap.
beg to
As a
differ.
baby.
And the thing
I
about
think
it,
she's good.
I don't think that's. Y'all gotta understand. I come from hip hop origin,
Mm-hmm.
rapidy rap.
yeah,
This, that, it. Punchlines versus telling a real story is a lot different. So punchline rappers, which is what I consider her to be. Y'all, you want a reaction or you want to be someone's caption on social media. Versus when you're a lyricist,
Like
you're telling a story through your music. You're actually reaching people on a deeper note than trying to, you're sparking a reaction by reality versus punchline
music I actually like.
See, a lot of my favorite, be honest, my first song that I ever listened to was Rakim, Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em. Because I used to listen to nothing but Up North. But, of course, when I moved here to Orlando back in 92, and, of course, in 96, when Trick Daddy came out,
oh, Lord.
I was a whole fan. I was a whole fan. Then, I was a big No Limit fan. And the thing about it was, people were like, man, P suck. I'm like, yeah, P suck, but P actually had some lyricists on his team. Like Mac, you had Mia X.
DMX. Like all these people. I love me some DMX.
Yeah.
He's original.
Yes.
Yeah, well, we got to get back to the conversation.
Yeah. Why do you think they have to create a name, though? That was a good question. Why do they have to create a name instead of using...
Is that part of the identity issue?
No, it's
like, why
it's
do you have
marketing.
to,
No, yeah, it's
marketing.
Yeah.
Not
why
necessarily.
You can't be yourself?
I beg to differ.
You can market something else.
The only reason why I say I don't think it's so much marketing is because if you look at all of the greats, and let's be honest, there's no one that has came up in our generation has ever been considered one of the greats. They burn out too quick because they're trying to keep that image. But if you look at everyone that's on the greatest line that hasn't even been surpassed yet, they are their identity. They're themselves.
Yeah.
They haven't.
Because they have that. The ones that don't have that need something.
But they
like
burn
that.
out.
That identity.
But they need that. They need that little in front of it or their whatever drug reference.
But then that's not them.
The drug reference.
Seriously.
Whatever
like
weed strain you want to be
Ross.
today.
But when I look at it, because some of the like we talking about like the rappers, right?
Yeah, we talking about rappers.
Okay. I just want to make sure, like,
I mean, even singers too.
You have somebody named like Young Jock. Young Jock said he got his name from because of his real name is Jock. Oh, I can't pronounce it, but of course, people in the streets call him Jock.
But that's from the people in the streets. That's not
from him.
But,
and that's what it kind of like, right? When people choose a name for their child, typically they try to give it a meaning,
right,
or something they wanted them to live into. But
Cadillac, Mercedes.
Is it anything that they truly identify with? Like Young Jock,
the people call him that.
Yeah, the people
gave him that
but
name.
that's
the
not
society
who he really
called.
His name is what?
Y'all, by the way,
Justin,
did y'all know?
Like
Since I just mentioned it, do y'all want to know that the actual definition of society is the aggregate of people living together in a more or less ordered community? Right. So, anyways, that's what made me look it up. That's just actually the terminology description by way of the dictionary. So when people say that, it really doesn't fit. Wow. So the fact that he's saying he got this name from, the streets, as they call it,
the streets,
because
he wants to be the streets.
I just put Renee's name in a rap name generator.
What did it say, Phil?
So you want to know what some of Renee's rap names are going to be?
Yeah,
all right.
Rainy.
All right, so we got
Money.
We got Tartar Carter.
Wow.
We got Weed Capone. we got RC Capone.
Wow.
We got Carter Martyr.
Wow.
Owen Carter, Coolio Carter.
Coolio.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Inspector Carter.
I could see that. I can see him taking that one right there.
Renee the scientist.
Inspector, because
Dr. Renee.
Just Renee.
Inspector Carter.
But thing about it, like my name itself is different and unique. If I have people think like, is that your real name? I'm like, yes. Sound like a drink, man. Sound like a cognac. Man, go to the club. Hey, man, let me get some of that Renai, man, on the
It
rock.
do
It
sound
do
like
sound
a
like
drink.
a drink.
A nice smooth one too.
You know, it can be in the
Expensive
Grand
drink.
Marnier family.
Cartier.
That's what it
Cartier.
sound like.
It does sound like it.
Yeah, that, but like with me, like, of course, we all listen to something that we all can relate to. Like with me, me being from the South, I like to listen to, like lyricists from the South is different from lyricists from up north because of the way of living. And like one rapper I definitely like from the South is Big Crip.
I have no clue
I
who
don't
that
know who
is.
that is.
See, thing about it,
That sound like a big bag of chips.
Right, Big Crip.
But
Well, who
he
chose
from-
that rapping name?
I know.
Bill, did you get him that name?
No,
Put it in the generator.
But overall, but people that like J. Cole's and Kendrick Lamar's, they respect his flow because he really go off.
But there's a reason why he went up north for that.
You know what I'm saying? No, he never went up north.
Yes, he did. That's his whole storyline. You better listen to Forest Hill Drive.
No. I'm talking about Big
Cause that's
Crit.
I'm a J. Cole fanatic. I've been to every dollar in the dream.
I'm not talking about J. Cole. I'm talking about Big Crit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought
we
you
done
was talking
went
about
to
J.
the wrong
Cole.
verse.
Oh, no, but
Right.
no, what I was saying with J. Cole, I'm talking about with J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar say that he's, like he's as a lyricist, he set off. And one song he actually did with Jody Badass and Smoke Diz. Shucks, man. And to do songs with like rappers like that, you got your bar game gotta be up.
Right. Like you said, the lyrics have to make sense.
And that's like, like 8 Ball MJG. I'm a big MJG because he's more
So
lyrical.
you be throwing out all the alphabets, and I have no clue who these people are.
Then like
And you ever heard of
Identity
T.Y.?
crisis.
then that,
T.Y.T.G.?
Man, A-Ball
Yeah.
MJG.
I got like
A-Ball
3 of those.
that's like
Like 2 of these.
I like prime example, Bum B from from UGK. You know what I'm saying? He definitely get busy. There's you be surprised like how how busy. You got Andre 3000. You know he get busy. And he don't even be trying.
That is true.
He don't even be trying, and he don't even want to be in the spotlight. That make him. But people thought that he had an identity crisis because the way he was dressing. Way he was dressing, but he was saying that when you get to a certain point, he was looking for something that was more than what I'm saying. What to him, life wasn't about smoking and partying. It was something deeper to him. To that. That's why he fell in love with Erykah Badu, because she represented something that he was looking for at that time.
I can see that match.
I
They're
could
both
too.
different.
Because you ever notice that every every rapper ever talked to Erykah Badu, they start dressing like crazy. Common was dating her. He was dressing all crazy. Then Jay Electronica, when he was dating her, he was dressing all crazy. I'm like, I need to stay away from her, boy. But no, but it's like sometimes especially like sometimes when you listen to music, especially how we feel about the younger generation movie, we're like, man, what the heck y'all listening to? Are y'all going through identity crisis? I'm like, oh
It's
man,
just
he
the
be
beat.
snapping.
But you'll be surprised some of this music is like, I don't know, it's for your soul. It's like it's feeding your soul.
Some of what music?
But what are you
Like
feeding?
music in general. Like it depends
But
on
I think
that
that's
old
why it
school.
matters.
It
I think that's why
does.
it matters, the lyrics. Because like you said, you could say you can have two different living experiences. However, put it this way, the experiences wasn't so different. The streets is gonna be the streets no matter where you at. Ain't nothing different about nobody's hood. Everybody has a hood. The same things are occurring no matter what geographical location you at. So the difference is if we got two hoods, which we know, drugs, killing, home invasions, whatever it is, those things are taking place there, right? The difference is that as a lyricist, that I feel that mostly Biggie, the Pacs, the Nas, the Jays, those rappers, took it, but the message behind it is like the beginning of Biggie songs, like, this is to all the neighbors that was trying to call the cops on me when I was just trying to make money to feed my daughter. But then he gets into explaining the why behind the why, so that you understand that the choices made here were because of this, but look at what I did outside of that, and you can't too.
Correct.
Versus the, I'm laughing at it or I'm making fun of,
Right.
what's the stupid idiot? I can't even. I just know the story. The one crazy one that from Orlando, Glock 9, and the other
Kodak.
Damn, you knew it. See, I said idiot. You know what I was talking about, didn't it?
You said Glock 9. That's all.
Yeah, Kodak. And they glorified the behavior that's killing our communities. So there's a difference if I'm trying to give you instructions for how not to do this and the repercussions of it, than if I'm glorifying it and wanting you to continue to do this to gain this type of response.
You guys heard that conspiracy about how the record labels are pushing that agenda?
Yeah.
Because they selling these artists to them for the highest bidder, because they don't got to pay these artists their money at the end of the day.
No.
This is for the
I mean
prisons.
the content.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they're building the prisons.
Because they're getting them out of the streets. They like the that's what I call them, the Mona Scotts of the industry.
Right.
You going
Love and hip hop.
what's going to be consistent is you're going to Love and Hip Hop franchise. I despise it with a passion, because at the end of the day, they sell you the dream that what they think
Reality.
that you want, and they barely get paid anything off of that. They want you to make the money on the end of you expecting you yourself to blow up, but
even with Love and Hip Hop, only person of all, like every character I ever watched from the Love and Hip Hop, the only one to me wasn't trying to be all hard and make themselves more who they are. To me, was Young Jock.
he changed.
He changed.
Oh, but you got
He wasn't going
The
down.
perm, the curl, and
yeah.
That was identity.
Okay.
That was
Yeah.
identity crisis
No,
right there.
hold
Because he seen Ursha.
on. Hold on. Before y'all get on the perm. Okay, the reason
My
why
dog had a salon.
No, actually, the reason why he had that.
confused.
No, the reason why he had that perm, because that was for a movie that he had did.
Okay.
There was a movie that he did.
And
called
he
Press.
stopped filming.
Afterwards, we heard
Yeah,
that.
he-
afterwards.
Stopped filming and he thought it was wrong.
He did a show. It was a series called Pressure. It was actually a pretty dope movie. That then, cause think about it, when you look at the Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, everybody Little Scrappy was acting all hard. What's it got Benzino? But when Jock came, Jock was more of a character. Jock would have you dying laughing because he was just funny. And
messy.
And the thing about it was with that Love and Hip Hop, it actually, even though it push out a lot of negative, but for some of the people it actually helped them out. Like Young Jock, it helped out.
Young Jock ain't helping. What?
Young Jock got
How it
some
help
money.
him? He ain't got no money.
Young Jock got money.
No, he Ubering.
No.
Wait, I'm Uber. Wait a minute.
No, I'm saying. I'm saying he out here trying to sue Uber.
No.
He out here trying. Yeah.
No.
He out here trying to sue Uber for his.
Do you watch Vlad TV?
No.
No, you need to watch
So
it.
it's a joke.
Yeah.
The same thing as Ray J, where they pick
So
up
it's a joke
random
that he got a
people.
perm. It's the joke he out here trying to sue the Uber, and it's a court
when he
document.
because think about with Vlad TV, you'd be surprised.
I never heard of that.
Yeah, what's got Vlad TV? Because one of his regulars is Lil Boosie. Lil Boosie be on it. It'd be people on there that you never, you never heard of. They give you so much insight. Like the one guy that told Vlad about the whole that YSL, the rock, with Rico. He the one that had hit them up and told them like, hey, something big in Atlanta about to happen. And once they got Young Thug and Young Gun and Gunna, bam. He called them up and like, hey, this is what I was talking about. And then he had him in his interview, and then just so much insight, because sometimes you don't know until when you interview it. Like with Jock, his whole thing was when he actually said he was doing a commercial.
I mean, just an FYI, I don't knock it. It's just the display he put on the platform when talking about other males on their show, discrediting the things that they did, for you to turn around and be seen in that light. It's hypocritical. It's hypocrisy.
Compared to everybody else on that show.
Yeah, y'all talked about Stevie-O,
They
the one
start
that
to fall
made the
into
sex tape
that
with Mimi.
character.
But you know what it is? And that's another thing too, because honestly, they fall into the hype of the drama. You know what I'm saying? Because for like 3 whole seasons in different locations, LA, Atlanta, and New York, you can almost time when the drink about to get thrown. It's like,
Everybody's
I
just
like
sitting
you.
there minding their business, eating while they over here yelling and throwing stuff. Yeah, sure.
Well, I'm gonna be honest.
And they know they don't do that every day.
Yeah, but you know, but
And I've modeled and gotten requests to be a extra. It is, but the thing about it is, when do we as a people decide that this is not the light that we want to be shown in? I'm really waiting for somebody to have the sense to want to change the brand.
But to them, it's
that's up to
considered
them.
boring.
That's
There's
up
no
to- that's
drama.
up to the-
It's
That's the
considered
whole
boring.
industry.
That's
Yeah.
up to the
Entertainment
person.
industry.
That's up to the individual. It's up to to
Right,
the
but
individual.
but to that said point, right? Because one person really had power to change the franchise as well. Like if you notice, first of all, Cardi B was Cardi B before that, and I'm always saying her because at the end of the day, when the franchise ain't make or break her. Nothing.
She
She
knew
knew
who she was
who she
already.
was, right? And this come back to the identity piece, right? People like her that got on the franchise and actually did make a difference outside of what they were going on there for music, because I'm pretty sure it was sold to her. Let me not say pretty sure, because I hate talking about celebrities like you, like I know them, like you my dog. But I'm just saying, 10 times out of 10, the dream got sold because she was getting into the music industry. This gonna take your career, because everybody on there at some point try to do music, even though they sound like crap. So her being the rapper she is, of course, I'm pretty, like I said, I'm almost positive that's something that she probably got sold to do on the show. But in the event that you recognize, like, hey, this ain't, like, I swear this, she was on the reunion talking about that, like, yo, this ain't what it was cracked up to be. Like, I'm gonna take my brand elsewhere. Got off that first season, Bodak Yellow Pop. You know what I'm saying?
Like people,
And she took off.
and even with that, another one, growing up, growing up hip hop. When Master P and Romeo was on there, they left there because they were trying to make them something they wasn't.
Right.
And the thing about it is, one thing about anybody know about Master P, ain't nothing going. Ain't nothing gonna run him. He gonna run it.
He know the brand. He know his brand. That's it.
Yeah, and the thing about it, and I would also say the same thing. I would say about Papoose and Remy Ma, because they wasn't no
love them.
messy. They was not. They was not.
Can
messy.
anybody tell me a show, Real Talk, that actually airs African Americans without the hoopla in a reality setting? Do anybody know any show that showcases us in any
YouTube. When people telling their story,
that's
about it.
But that's us.
it.
But we run that. Like
Yeah.
we're our franchise on YouTube. That's our account. So that doesn't count.
Well,
I'm
we
talking
don't-
about
we
like
don't
TV shows.
documentary.
Yeah,
We don't own anything to produce it. We don't even own BET.
No, you're
more.
right. And but this is what I'm saying. When do we get a said person? And the only person I say is this close to doing it is Issa Rae. Issa Rae is out here building like so much right now, and it's about showing African American, because she started on YouTube. Her series is on YouTube first, but she's the only one I see right now actively trying to get a reality series that shows us in a positive light. Because we are not being shown in any type of fashion that represent any type of order.
Well, the
the
T.I.
media
show.
probably of course they change stuff to make us look like we're bad. Like it may be good parts in there that's actually showing like the realness of us, the authenticity of us, but they're not showing that part because they want us to continue to be in this cycle of drama and we got to be toxic.
Right.
So,
but if you don't give them negative, what do you have to air?
Nothing. Basically,
Nothing.
they kick you off. I think I watched one
That's
show
why I said come back to us
where they
owning our
had
stuff.
one couple on there, and when I say she was walking straight line, no drama, no nothing, happy family, her and her husband did what they need to do, and one season I was like, okay, they're off, and she came on, she was like, my life was boring to them. I had no drama to give them, and I was going to church, I was doing what I needed to do, so basically they felt like I wasn't bringing enough to the table to draw attention to me.
Yep.
And I was like, really?
Yeah, it happens.
And I
then-
actually like them.
Right. I just want somebody to actually create that content because that is reality for us. I'm sorry. Me and my girlfriends aren't getting together and throwing drinks in our faces. That's not what we're doing. Typically in other countries, but they aren't popular in the U.S.
Which is true.
Exactly, because we're the only one that glorify that bullcrap.
Yeah.
People can actually get right.
Yeah.
You know, get together and get right.
But, let's see here. But it's something else I really, something that's been a real hot topic that's been going on too. I know y'all been seeing it and seeing it. About the whole Britney.
The one that got the 9 years in
So-
Russia.
So what?
Oh, you can't hit that topic with this little bit of time left.
Oh, we still got plenty of time.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh,
A little bit
sorry.
of time, yes.
So
I got a lot of unpopular opinions about this.
I put to you like this: when you go to
Yay, set up.
Israel, you go to these foreign countries, you better not.
it's just real talk. When you go into certain countries, you gotta respect the laws and customs. Okay, like when I was in Dubai a year ago, they say that in Dubai you cannot be a public intoxicated. If you do, you're going to jail. Okay, when we was on our boat on a little yacht party, we were drunk. When we got out that boat, we ran straight to the doggone bus because we wasn't gonna do no time out in no Dubai. My whole thing was this. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I feel sorry for. I don't feel sorry for her. I feel sorry for her to a point as in like, wow, you in Russia, you in prison, you going to prison in one of the toughest prisons in the world.
Yeah, didn't you watch Stranger Things?
I need to watch that. 'Cause that's the second time you mentioned that, and somebody, I guess I need to. Well, what is it? What? Because you like?
Well, no, they
It sounds like it
one
says.
of the characters is stuck in a Russian prison. So
Oh.
And another thing, her getting 9 years, I don't have a problem with it because the thing about when you go to these countries, you gotta respect their laws.
How much
But
did
does she
have on
deserve
her?
9 years?
But the whole thing about it is their laws are not like our laws. When you go there, you have to you have to respect it because even though she didn't have that much, but at the same time, you in a country that don't like the United States. We always go back and forth with Russia.
Yeah, true.
Okay,
but she didn't have to be there if she would have gotten paid by the right salary. She was there playing basketball because she was making 4 times.
It's
her
a whole
salary.
setup. It's a snatch and grab because at the end of the day, they had already made an example before her, but it wasn't getting enough raw.
Yeah, because
But
she's
she
not,
gave them the easy hand. You handed them,
Yeah, because she's a big name. Because you have somebody else that was a guy I forgot he actually got caught.
Yeah, the one Robert for her.
He did he was doing 14 years. Wow. And the thing about it is, people don't understand. People gotta understand this. When you go to these countries, they not like the United States. Some of them are just as strict. You go to some of them countries, whatever hand you still in, they cut your hand off. Whatever woman if you rape a woman.
My biggest thing, right? And my biggest thing is the fact that, and again, I do feel like the time is excessive for the crime. That's just that. It's wrong in that sense, right? But the uproar that we have for getting her home because she's over here in Russia, but we got people over here right now,
Rotting in prison.
in our own backyard. They ain't in Russia. The U.S. themselves, like us as a nation, right now.
Because she's a big name.
And you know me, I like to drop facts. Okay? Facts. Right now, 88% of the arrests from 2010 to 2020 were for marijuana under 10 grams. Minimal sentence, 7 years.
Yeah.
7 years for under 10 grams. But y'all want us to fight over there in Russia so why do we care Now
About
that
somebody
she's in
Seriously.
Russia.
Seriously.
But y'all got cousins, uncles, brothers, aunties, whoever in your own backyard serving this kind of time for the same crime. So why are we surprised?
And you know what? And I'm gonna be honest. I think one, of course she's black too. She, let's call it what it is. She's gay. It's in the LBG community. They raising hell about it.
Would it have been a difference if she had a marijuana card?
She
medical
does.
card?
She
Yeah,
does.
she does.
And she does.
It doesn't work.
She had a
that way.
marijuana card. It's
It
not
doesn't work
recognized
over-
over there.
it's
She
not
had one
recognized
since
over there.
2020.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think it matters that she's black either. And the reason why I say that is because over here, the black arrest was 17% more than the white arrest from 2010 to 2020. So we already knew we were leading over 3%.
I'm just gonna break it down. I'm just gonna break it down. Let me just take my doggone hat off.
It's real.
What it boils down is Putin showing Cause the thing about it, in order to get her back, we're gonna have to give them something. Okay, we're gonna have to give them a prisoner. It's real talk.
They probably already got
They want their
prisoners
arms
over
dealer.
there.
They want their arms
They
dealer.
want an
That's
arms
what
dealer
this
or a
is about.
spy.
They want him.
Because the thing about it, you gotta understand is this. Putin, he got the car. The car's in his hand. Cause he like, y'all want her back? Okay. If y'all want her back, this is who I want. If the U.S. ain't gonna give it to him, like, you know what? She gonna stay here. And y'all gonna have to deal with it. And you gotta understand that. Yeah, what I'm saying? People scream out, well, there was a white girl that had like, I saw it on the thing on my Facebook, but I'm like, y'all don't understand that she was not. Sometimes you gotta look at what the year that it happened. Because of course, when Trump was in office, we didn't have a problem with Russia. Because, that's a whole different story in itself.
Russia invaded Ukraine, and we over here sending $3.6 billion over there to fund the Ukraine.
And think about it.
You don't think he would be upset?
And like I said, me.
We finna fight. You call your cousin though.
And me, like I said, I voted for Biden, and the thing about it is, yeah, we know that his son doing deals out there in Ukraine. Let's be real. But it's like Pine. It's like Pine Hills and Winter Garden. Okay, they cool, but you know what I'm saying. But Pine Hills have a problem with somebody out there, out there on cross towns. Okay, so. Okay, so Pine Hills and Winter Garden never had the best relationship. Okay, so Winter Garden wanted to invade, cross towns. Okay, but Pine Hills helping out cross town with guns, the drugs. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, they gonna feel some type of way if they catch somebody. From their hood and kidnap them, they gonna like, hey, okay, y'all want them back? This is what we want. But at the same time, you have to, when you go to these countries, you have to be careful. You have to be careful, whatever it boils down to, because sometimes as Americans, we do get caught up. We have this arrogance about ourselves that, well, we could go to anywhere and, they're going to treat us like royalty.
America.
And the thing about it is we are the most hated country. We are the most hated country in the world.
Oh, why do we allow people to have so much control over us? Like, we not like we're not our own people. Like, we're not our own individual. Like, we don't know how to talk for ourselves. We don't know how to say, no, I'm not doing it. Like, it seems like the government, of course, that's known. It's just we're allowing the government to control us, and the communities are not standing up against the government to be their own person. Like, if everybody rose up to just...
Well,
I think the simple answer to that, though, is just because they most people, they are relying on the government in some way, shape, or form. So they have this sense of loyalty to them because they haven't recognized the power that they hold yet. And it goes back to the whole analogy of an elephant being tied to a stick and a rope, not knowing that they weigh more than this rope and this stick. So at the end of the day, it's about psychological imbalance.
It's what's been
That's
implanted.
it's what's been implanted. So you rely on them for certain things that you have now trusted to uphold your family. Who are you to go against master?
Correct. So if you're on housing, you're on all these things, you're kind of like, oh man, I can't bite the hand that's feeding me right now. And that's how they're seeing it.
It goes a lot deeper than just that.
Yeah,
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Get rid of the blackmail, send them to jail. Let's have these really strict drug laws. Well, first, hold on, let me put my camera. First, let's put the drugs here, and then let's put really, really strict drug laws. Let's take the blackmail away from the home, and then now the family is dependent on the government.
Yeah. Right, but
Watch this.
Piece of crack cocaine, no bigger than this quarter that I'm holding in my hand, $1/4 of $1. We passed a law through the leadership of Senator Thurmond and myself and others, a law that says if you're caught with that, you go to jail for 5 years. You get no probation. You get nothing other than 5 years in jail. Judge doesn't.
And that's the sad reality of it, to be honest. I one of the things too, right? I literally have studied this sentiment when that's part of what I do. I help families with some of these government benefits, right? Because there is nothing in our state laws that would permit someone from not receiving the benefits without the father's information. So there's a lot of women that get told, and because they don't understand the verbiage of the application completion, when you're filling out a Medicaid, this is Medicaid, food stamps, SNAPs, cash assistance, whatever it is that you're filling out, a lot of them do not include the father in the household out of fear that they're going to get less money. They're not going to get the benefits because of the wording. It's termed in a certain context. And they like, well, I went to the, access center and they told me that I had to put the dad on child support to get my benefits. When in all actuality, you didn't have to. They just want to know where you at. You ain't got to have the best relationship with your baby daddy. You ain't got to have none of that. They just want to know if you're asking us
for money to
pay for this child, where was the person that helped you conceive it? All you got to do is give a name. You ain't even got it. That counts as the child support compliance. So they look at that small little black area that says child support compliance, that you're going to provide this information. They be like, well, had to put them on child support. Or no, child support compliance means put the dad in the household on the application so that we know that the dad is around and we don't gotta hit you with the sanction. Because you need to include that information. That's it. Right. Clearly, if you got this, I get it. There's some situations, and I'm not saying this across the board, but I am saying that there are some situations where they do not know who the pappy of the baby is, and that's fine. That is fine. But then again, there's no compliance there because
you can't find
you
them.
You don't know who it is. Yeah. There's no 1-2 DNA test when you go through the process. But so I do think sometimes if the education piece wasn't there so that you don't have to do that, because I'm sorry, I think I do understand there's fathers who are inactive, but even in that instincts, right? Accountability comes with that. Accountability saying that that you know what, maybe I made a poor decision by just being in this situation, and you have this child now, but that's where self-accountability, step your game up to take care of your child. Because the child ain't asked to be here, and no one else in the circle asked for him, he or she to be here either. Then you don't have to rely on that piece. So I just say, if you are going to take that route, wisely. Do it wisely so that you're not killing the next man, because he's going to have kids after you. I know somebody that's sitting here paying $1,000 a week on child support because you want Medicaid benefits. And he's working, sending you money. It's just not enough for what you want. Right. But you had to comply, so you put him on child support. Now there's a sanction. Now he's not making. How are you expecting to get the money for your child now?
And then you're ruining his life because now his license suspended.
And that's where the bitterness. That's where the bitterness comes in. That's when you do get the dad that don't want nothing to do with you.
No. I'll tell you. I'm gonna break it down even better for you. When Martin Luther King, after the Civil Rights Movement, right? So the people that funded Martin Luther King wasn't like your rich people. They were like working black families. Okay? So they were the ones that funded Martin Luther King movement. And once, the FBI, found out, they said that they can't never have something like this ever happen again. Because the civil rights movement, because if Martin Luther King would have been still living, would have had lived, black America, I think black America will be totally different what it is now. That's just my personal opinion. And they realized, like, we cannot have the father in the household. Okay? That's like, when you have, you look at through history, you go England, it's important for them to have is a king, right? If they don't have a king, quote unquote, the kingdom gonna fall down.
Okay.
So they look at the black man as the king. Okay? And that's why they brought, because think about it, when you think about welfare, it was really made for the whites. Because when Roosevelt was in office, a lot of the stuff came
That's
through.
why they more mad about that abortion law.
That's what, Roosevelt, that was part of the New Deal. The only thing that got us out of the depression was, getting into World War II. But that's a whole different story. But just to break it down, they knew like, well, we need to do something about it. So of course, they come up to the woman like, hey, we could give you all this, but he can't be there. And to some women, that was a great deal. It sounds crazy, but they realized they could do this to tear down the black family. In each decade, the black family decreased. Because, of course, in your mind, in your mind, like, dang, I need this, especially if you're a young mother. You're a young mother, you know that he's not going to stay with you. I need something. And that's what the assistance, that was the purpose of the assistance. And now, it's to a point that, it's just really destroying our families. And the purpose of it's supposed to be, quote unquote, purpose. It's supposed to help you until you get on your feet. But of course, not just the blacks, the whites, the Hispanics, everybody abuse it.
They get dependent.
Because you have Mexicans that do come into the United States. They don't pay no taxes. Not at all.
Yeah, but they don't get benefits.
Yeah, but
I mean, they are least likely to even try to apply because they know what that means.
They got like 8 people or 15.
Yeah,
in one house.
They
got
rather
it,
hoard it up.
I'm
just saying, maybe that's the wrong demographic.
But here's
They stacking their
like,
money,
yeah, what
honey.
you saying.
this is their mentality. Their mentality is, okay, we all could get in one house, and we all, okay, if the house is like, we're just gonna use a small amount, okay, even though it's not like that no more. Okay, it's $500, right? They in the house for $500, and you have probably
For
like
rent,
15 people.
for rent.
No. I'm just
Oh.
using an old example. So.
Well, when was the $500? I just want to
Yeah,
know
what is
so
it
I
for
can go
rent?
back in that time, so I know what to tell
No,
my
I'm saying-
time machine to go
No,
back
I'm
in
saying- no, I'm
Mexico.
talking- okay.
You can, but I.
No. When
Not even.
well, I'm saying I know not today's time, but I'm just saying like as in like how they work together.
I got you.
So if it was a house that they were paying for $500 a month, okay, and you have let's say 10, and you divide that 500, by 10, with 10, and Nobody's not paying a big share. They paying half on everything.
Right.
And,
Shared load.
And the thing about they have time to build. They could build on their money. Okay, and as well as this, check this out now, because I actually saw this saw this. There was like 5 black men. They wanted to own some property, so each of them put $50 away for 2 years to buy that one property.
Yeah. My family's doing that now. We have
I was just about to say.
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
it's literally one of the. I wish more of us kind of thought
Put
about
our
it,
heads together
because I'm gonna be honest, and I've been saying this on my social media. People keep on calling me a conspiracy theorist and all this other stuff, because when it's something that you cannot physically see yet to believe, I can't tell you the amount of times, like when COVID happened, before COVID happened, where I'm like, y'all. This is real life. A lot of people think things can't happen until it happens, but I say this just because monkeypox is now the newest thing, right?
Of course.
One of the things I think I'm more grateful, and I say it all the time, that my parents are older, because a lot of the stuff that we're seeing first, and it also comes with wisdom and a certain amount of spirituality as well. But what it comes down to is it's going to come a time where. And if you know any of my friends, they'll tell you I've been preaching this since the beginning of time. There's gonna come a time where money won't mean nothing. I don't care what you got, how much of it you got.
Nope.
It ain't gonna mean nothing.
Not at all.
Money ain't gonna mean nothing. These jobs ain't gonna mean nothing. But what will mean something is your family, and by
Your
family, your community, your ownership, who you are surrounded by, and this is why. It's important to be and I say the village, right? Your village, because people will be your resources. People.
Yep.
You and you. Yep. Your people will be your resources. And I say that to say, because when all of this stuff that we put value in no longer matters, and we just here existing with each other, how they do that, how they structure your family, your village, it makes a difference.
What would you run to?
Where would you run to? So my dad, he created, my dad and my mom, both of them, was like, no, what we finna do a family compound.
Right.
And I used to laugh and tell my best friend, hey, you gonna get a spot on the compound, girl?
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we doing a family compound, but the thing is, the ownership is there, because land don't value. That's just not gonna change. You know what I'm saying? That's where your value lies, no matter what happens. But on the family compound, and all of us are in, majority of our family, because I do have a big family, so it's like 2 generations, but are in one home right now. So what, like, the process that it takes to actually stick through for the end goal, you have to trust the process in order to see the bigger end. Yeah. But I've noticed, as I've been explaining to some of my friends and my family, once we seen what happened with COVID, because we started right before COVID. Actually, COVID was probably around at the end of 2019. And all my dad's siblings was like, why are you selling your properties? Like, what? Are you stupid? Like, you know what I mean? Because it takes a lot to, like I said, trust in the process. Because my sister sold her house, my dad sold his homes, everything. Because money ain't gonna mean nothing. All of that, it ain't gonna mean nothing.
The purge.
It is. Yeah. But in essence, that's where your security is going to come from. So and the thing about it is not having to worry about, because we all in one house. So not having to worry about who's coming and going, and, if this person got, whatever it is, because you can care for your individuals, but at the same time, everybody making money. Right. So your resources are now pulled. Daddy garden, everybody do they share. We got gardens, because now we don't, and it's just a matter of, I don't even know if y'all notice, y'all going in the grocery stores now, you noticing the expiration date is closer. Used to be able to get stuff for 3-4 weeks out. Now you got right now meat, like
2 days later.
You don't eat it right now.
That's because it's not real.
Yeah, it's not
Not real.
But you have to start setting your villages up. I don't care if the time is next year.
The
next
time
month,
is now.
You know what I'm saying? You actually have to start walking that way, and it's cost me a lot of friendships. It has.
Tapped us out. I can't hear anything.
Oh no, I can hear.
Oh, it's probably your cord at the bottom.
Yeah.
Just wiggle it or plug it back in.
But yeah, you have to recognize who you around. But I just say that to say it took a lot of people still don't even understand why we made that move. Like you know what I mean? Like, wait, like, y'all okay over there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, let's say tomorrow, because they over here talking about state of emergency for monkeypox.
The phones already ain't working.
All right, now stop. I was like, oh my God.
Right.
Wow.
I can't stand you, Phil. But
And I'll let her-
I'm gonna let you know right now today. Okay, I know what resident's gonna be.
Weapons of class 4 and
we already here.
We already here. We already here. And I just say that to everybody. Like, man, you can't never be too prepared.
Yeah.
You know, and I will say too, grab your firearms while before these laws. That's the next thing. Kind of like how they change laws to fit their
bills.
their
and stuff,
how they fit it to fit their prerogative. You gotta be 10 steps ahead of them. But a lot of this stuff was what they call hiding in plain sight. This ain't new.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff we've been. If you've noticed, you haven't seen a lot of our. Hell, we ain't seen Biden for a little minute now since Moneybag Joe dropped the stimmies. He been gone. There's a lot, and people Channing Tatum, people legit dragged him on social media for weeks because he decided that he wanted to move to. He was like, I just don't want to be here, and like they were just like, what? Like he's like, yeah, I want to move to. I think it was like Argentina or something like that. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm moving. Like this is not my me and my family. We out. Like. You know, there's a lot of things that like I say, it's almost like hiding in plain sight. But I think we have to get to a point of understanding in the community where we stop minimizing our senses. We stop minimizing things like, you know, there's some people that I've literally had like dudes be like, oh, you must have been smoking. Like, was that a high conversation? Like, how you figure that? No, you don't gotta be, you know, under the influence to actually be like, yo, you ever thought about this before? Like, have you realized this? You ever had a thought?
You just gotta open your eyes.
Well, you know, one thing that living through COVID, 2020 was more like a horror movie because it felt like you was in a movie like Outbreak.
Yeah.
And what it boils down to, you know, you start to see all these viruses, you know, because you know, Corona always been around. It's just, of course, with anybody that knows anything about virus always end up, they end up, they come in different forms. That's why there's never been a cure for a common cold. Because it always come back in a different form.
Yeah, it replicates itself.
And that's another thing that, you know, they had a hard time with, you know, when first, you know, when AIDS came into play with HIV because it always replicated. You know, but now they studied because of the money they put into it, of course, and, you know, now you have better medicine. And like with the monkeypox,
For us, they just have something worse that's right behind it because now they're making it seem like having HIV is okay. Now we can cure that for you.
You think monkeypox is bad? Wait till you get the giraffe flu.
But a cure.
but the thing about it is, you know, my whole thing is, long as we don't have to ever deal with Ebola. If it ever come to the United States,
we've had cases here.
Yeah, it was one. It was only one case here in the United States, and I will know.
Where did it come from?
It's in Africa.
Why most of our stuff start in Africa? Or
because they go down there and put it down there in Africa.
In the labs, honestly.
But you know that was you know when Ebola was first, you know, was back in the 1960s.
They brought it there.
So. But you know, when you look at it, you know, now, you know what the Bible talks about, that you know in the last days that you're gonna see different diseases, different sicknesses, and that's just been throughout history. But but for us, we have to take our time to know what's really going on within our area in society, like with the monkeypox. You know that, you know, 'cause actually there's one girl I actually follow on my IG, and I was trying to hit her up to come here because they said that it came, you know only way you get the monkeypox unless you mess with somebody that's, you know, the same sex. but she didn't catch the monkeypox. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because she's not
I mean,
gay.
just scientifically, that don't even make no damn sense. That don't.
They
Like if I screwed you and I screwed you, but it's still the same
but
thing.
that's you know what I'm saying? That's what they were saying.
They feed us anything.
Oh, yeah.
But overall, she caught it. But she didn't, you know, she didn't have sex with no one. You know.
So technically, we don't know how you can catch it. You just catch it.
I think it starts with fear.
What it boils down to, that's why it's so important. That's why good hygiene is so important. Wash your hands.
Your ass.
That part. And, just real talk. Because think about before we knew what we knew about COVID. You know, it was so important, you know, because people were washing their hands like crazy. And you think about it, bleach was selling out like crazy. And you had probably people that probably never cleaned their house before.
You know what's crazy? One thing that I didn't even realize that was nasty that we all did until COVID happened was blowing out candles on a birthday cake. You spitting all over it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I never thought about that until after COVID.
Right.
It's just,
Hey, bro, keep your saliva to yourself.
We don't need no candles.
Yeah, but that's the thing about it. We never, there's, you know what I'm saying? One thing I would say about, you know, there's good, you know, good and bad at everything. But it put things in perspective as in like, okay, wow, I never thought about it like this. I never thought about it like that. But as us, we have to do our research to understand what what's really going on and protect ourselves. And that's why, you know, it's still important. It's still important to still wear a mask, even though I need to wear a mask. I don't wear a mask like I should because it's not over. It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse.
Honestly, we got to adjust to it. This is the new norm.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, this is what it's going to boil down to. But, you know, one of the things that you touched on is fear. When you don't let fear succumb you, like, you able to maneuver through this thing without a drop in mind. But I seen a post today on Facebook. Because when you mentioned it about, you know, the Bible telling us certain things, but so many people don't even really believe in the book to armor themselves with any kind of
because you know, as you know, as men become wiser, they become weak. If that make any sense.
And then to me, clarify.
Okay. When you have so much knowledge, right? You have an arrogance about yourself. You don't feel that you could be told what to do or to follow instructions. Because you think about it, you have people screaming out, well, you know, how you know that was written? How you know that was written by that Bible written by a white man? But at the same time, the Bible has not lied
About
at anything, not once. But people are having a hard time accepting it because in their mind,
they think that we are underneath some type of slavery.
They adapted to the world.
Think about when people look at the Bible, they justify. They were like, well, they used that in slavery. Yeah, they used that in slavery because they took out one particular verse and read it to the slaves. That's why they didn't want the slaves to learn how to read. Because when you learn how to read, that's when you could rebel.
Well, it was the only book the slaves knew how to read.
Well, there was a lot of slaves that didn't know how to read. Because like dealing with Frederick Douglass, when the white one was trying to teach him how to read, the slave master had went off on his wife.
I was talking. Yeah, you're right. But I was there's two different eras. I was talking more when people question the origin and how it was written, when it was written, and where it was written, and how do we know these stories to be told true?
But the thing about it is, it's just one of them things that, you know, it has not lied not once. The ark still exists. We just, you know, it's just some things is meant for us to know, and then some things ain't meant for us to know.
Well, you know, I think people fear what they don't understand, and I had this conversation today. People legit fear what they don't understand. If they don't understand it and they cannot tangibly see something, how can you explain it to me? Because everything we are taught growing up is we can physically see, touch, smell, our five senses.
Yeah.
So if it's not touching any of that, we have no clue how to relate to anything of that nature, because then you would have to be completely in understanding of the spiritual realm, which a lot of people are not educated there.
Oh, and let me ask you this. So what's the definition of faith?
Faith is
What you
to
can't
believe
see.
things in which you cannot see.
And then that's what thing about people have a heart. If they cannot see it, it's hard for them to believe.
Yeah,
it.
of course.
But that's why a lot of people have a problem with. Because the thing about the King James version of the Holy Bible is the most controversial book in the world. Because one, because everybody don't want to live accordingly to the Bible because they got something against it. They want to live it to
Their standards.
to their standards. Yeah, to their standards. And you have people who are like, well, why I need to go to, why I need to go to church, why I need to, why I need to give, 10%, why I need to, and church, yeah, but I said, the Bible also talk about, they're going to be false prophets. And that's what some
But
people
some people don't even know what that is.
It's just a matter of
They don't know what that is. It's a lot of miseducation.
And that's the whole thing.
And I find a lot of people that argue with me when I ask them, have you read the Bible from the front to the back? You can't start from the middle of the book and take a paragraph and tell me that this is what the whole thing means. But I understand that we learned that at school too. Context clues.
Yeah,
What came before it, what came after it. So if you have not.
Because they even said that like with Jesus, there's so much stuff that Jesus did. It wouldn't be enough trees to write down everything that he did, and that's a lot. And there's a lot of trees in this world, and that's just saying a lot. But it also people don't understand that the Old Testament is the Old Testament, but when Jesus died on that cross, we are living in the New Testament. Because they was like, well, why, so why God, I said, because when Jesus died for our sins, he gave us a chance to, once we, a sin, we have a chance to repent. We had a chance to, keep on, I ain't gonna say keep on fighting. Yeah, redeem. And then back in the Old Testament, it was, it was ruthless. Because of what when Adam and Eve ate the forbidden fruit, that changed everything, and people don't understand. For them to eat that forbidden fruit, it really changed the whole dynamic of how this world, how the world it is now, or what it should have been if they didn't do it. Because think about it. A python. If you look at a python, they got if you really look at it, some of they got scales underneath it. They have legs. They have like a little small leg on there. Yeah, and it's like you think about it. Say, was that the serpent that was? That did come. That the devil was formed into to tell Eve that to eat that forbidden fruit. When you start thinking about it, it's starting to put things in like, oh, wow, I never thought about it like that.
And a lot of people, they look at the Bible physically because like everything that they're describing in the Bible is physical, not knowing that the things in the Bible are spiritual. Like,
it's a book of letters that were prophecies.
That's just representing something.
Yes, exactly.
Evil,
Exactly.
So it's also the understanding, like people don't understand. They're just looking from one eye, which is the physical. That's it. So,
Which means if they were to read the Bible, they're reading it. They just can't comprehend
don't
it. It's
understand
like looking in the mirror, but you can't really see it.
And the Bible is just one of them type of books you can read it by yourself, but you need somebody to
break it down
to understand it. And that's the purpose of when people go to Bible study too, to have these type of discussions.
That's why I said a lot of people comment without seeking to understand. A lot of people read to contradict because they want to be able to catch a believer in a lie. Well, why you can't tell me? Well, why you say that when Jesus destroyed the world? Is he that heavenly now when he sit the water over there? And it's like,
we still human.
Did you not see why that occurred? No, you didn't start there, but you wanted to start here. Correct. Oh well, then why y'all didn't tell them when they said, slaves, please obey your master? What you got to say about that? Well, did you see why the prophet came to tell them to do that so that they can be released by their faith? It's like you just don't have that understanding, but it does come down to studying.
And thing about it, even remember, God sent Moses to free his people because they was enslaved.
Yeah, you gotta read it the way it is. But
And the thing about it is, I don't mean to cut you off. When God told Moses to speak into the, I can ask that, man. Dang, my mind was. I think it was correct.
No, you told him to walk. He told him to walk into the burning bush.
Yes, and instead of that, he threw.
To see if it would make it over. He had to walk through.
Yeah, but the thing about it was, his punishment was, his people could go to the promised land, but he couldn't go because he disobeyed God. And that's what people don't understand. Like, people look at partial of it. You know how some people want, you know how they say is three sides to every story. Your truth, their truth, and the whole truth. And that's the thing about it. People want to believe their truth, and that's why people have so much problem with the Bible.
Yeah. But just to kind of bring it back full circle, it's really one of those things where you gotta believe in something. You gotta believe in something. If you don't believe in the book, you gotta believe in the experiences that you've had that shows that something else greater than you exists. Right. And then I think it starts there. But just to kind of, like I said, tie everything together. You are going to let someone else tell you about what their beliefs and their natures are. Without you having your own identity to know better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you don't stand steadfast, stay grounded in who you are, stay true to that. I'm not saying people cannot change but the goal is to change, to be a better version of yourself,
of course,
each and every day. And that comes with the general principle of love, the general principle of being a giving, a loving, a forgiving human being to each other so that we can receive greater. And I'll just say that I really feel like people get so harped on the differences in so many areas of our lives and the calling out and the hoopla that they really forget the whole reason why we're here. So, I just say, that was a really, 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 really good topic because I'm still thinking about some stuff.
Yeah, because even when we talk about it, still falls the identity. Because people have a hard time identifying the Bible within themselves because they want to live a certain type of lifestyle.
Yeah.
But the Bible tell you how you're supposed to live. But some people have a hard time following the instructions
because they're trying to create themselves.
Exactly.
And that was already implanted in them without other people.
Yeah. Even though ladies and gentlemen, you felt like we was out of topic, but we was actually in topic.
We took y'all to church.
It came back around.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Monday church.
Full circle.
So
Monday Bible study.
So
know your roots.
So if anybody that has a business, that want to promote, you can hit us up on our Facebook on Orange County Urban Media. And you can email us at brokepodcastcommunity@gmail.com. And I don't know if anybody gonna answer the phone, but you can leave a message.
You can leave
somebody.
We'll definitely reply back.
and as well, DJ, she had a special event for the kids.
Yeah.
For the community.
Thank y'all for supporting that.
And I apologize I couldn't be there, but
we had so much fun. It was a great turnout, and thank you to everybody that did show up, supported us, volunteered with us. I mean, I was so overwhelmed with joy at the end of it and just seeing everything. So y'all make sure y'all follow me to get the rest of those photos, and I'll put some on the Urban County Media page as well.
And as well, I'm gonna be away for a while. Probably like for 3 or 4 episodes.
He's got to build up his OnlyFans.
Yeah,
Why you telling him?
I need that money. I need that money.
Inspector Carter.
Which doctor? Dr. Carter.
So it'll be all women on here. The women, they're gonna hold it down for me. And when I come back, I'm gonna hold it down for the fellas, and got Phil here too.
Got you.
Yeah.
We're gonna hold it down, and I'm just want to shout out to Q. She couldn't make it tonight to the show.
Thank you.
And we gonna hold it down for you. We love you.
Yes.
And if anybody else got anything to say?
Now we rocking and rolling, y'all.
See y'all
No,
next time.
no.
Like, share, subscribe.
Follow.
Announcements.
Announcements.
Hit us up. Follow us. We follow
Stay
back.
prayed up. Stay prayed up.
And all,
Y'all better go stack your houses.
Y'all better
As
stay.
well, if y'all want to donate to the show, if y'all want to donate $1, we gonna throw you the Cash App on the next show, okay? So
Follow our pages up there.
Yeah.
See y'all.
Bye.